Hello. This is the Quite Frankly podcast because life is weird and we have thoughts.
I'm Joanne, and this is my sister Danielle. What I was supposed to say.
Well, you know, we took a little sabbatical and we're just getting right back into it. But we were going to record today, but then we decided, we started to talk about something that had to do with Matthew McConaughey. No, it's not how beautiful he is. It actually has to do with...
I love his voice.
I do love his voice.
It's
like warm honey.
Yes, that's a nice way of putting it. Warm honey.
I love it. But no, we attach. Now, I don't know for sure if this is attached to him, but if you look at Reddit or anything else, it shows egotistical utilitarian, that this is something that I don't know if he's coined it or if it's something that he subscribes to, but I'm going to read the definition as per Google AI and what they think it is, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so it says
use Bing chat. It's far superior.
Okay. Well, this is what I had in front of me, Joanne.
I'm just telling the world out there.
So an egotistic utilitarian is someone who believes in prioritizing their own self-interest while also seeking to maximize overall happiness or utility for others. This framework combines egoism, where individuals primarily focus on their own well-being, and utilitarianism, which aims to create the greatest good for the greatest number. Now, I've read a few different definitions. One of the definitions I was reading kind of reminded me of the philosophy that, if you're in a plane and the oxygen drops down, you put it on yourself before you put it on the children. Because if you're not taking care of yourself and you're not doing what's right for you, how can you help anybody else? But I think it's a little deeper than that, because this is also looking at the framework of success, career, whatever, even just doing something that makes you feel good. So what are your thoughts, Joanne?
First, when you mentioned the oxygen mask, I agree wholeheartedly. And I remember when I had my first kid, Linda, our sister Linda, said, and she wouldn't sleep at night. She said to me, "You have to take care of you first before the child. If you need to sleep, you need to sleep." Mm-hmm. But she wasn't crying at night, and she said, "Let her cry. Just let her cry." And it's funny because she cried the first night. Just so you know, she did cry the first night for 45 minutes. The next night, it was 20 minutes. And then the next night, she really wasn't crying.
Do you want to know, Linda helped me with that too, with Joey. But here's the difference. Joey was colicky. He had all kinds of issues. And I always say I did not have postpartum depression. I had sleep deprivation. I was losing my ever-loving freaking mind. And do you know what she did? She took him for the night so
Aww.
I could sleep. So
Aww.
he slept over at hers. She still had a crib in the house. And I think Chelsea had grown out of it. So she's like, yeah, no, let him sleep here. You need sleep. So I'll never forget that. So yeah, no, she was good like that. But I do think
the kitties. I loved.
I do think that it's a concept that gets a little lost in today's society where, granted, I'm not to get political because right now I feel like talking about billionaires is political, that people that are billionaires are all evil. I don't necessarily think that. I think there are people that have grown their money and are giving back to society as they should be, and the people that work with them and everything like that. But unfortunately, the ones that are in the news...
I'm sorry.
I mean, if you put it in the perspective of back in the 70s or 80s, hearing a millionaire was a big deal. Millionaire. Damn.
You know why it changed? Reagan. I'm sorry.
I know.
You didn't want to talk politics, but here we are.
I know. But
Reagan took out the taxing of the super rich.
But if we were to look at taking care of yourself, making sure that you're putting yourself as a priority and having that egotistical, I guess, philosophy, and then understanding that it is in the long run something that if you're taking care of yourself, you can help society as a whole. I actually look at it as if I am taking the time to take care of myself, I am not relying on other people to take care of me, which is a burden on some people sometimes, or could be potentially, even like loved ones, emotionally, monetarily, whatever it may be.
There is something to be said, though, about community and helping each other in a community. I think we do. I know in a lot of the blue zones, do you know what a blue zone is? I'm just going to clarify it. It's where there's a large number of centenarians. A centenarian is people who live over 100 years old. So they have found in these blue zone areas, community is very important because they help each other. When someone was ill, I'm thinking in Japan, somebody was ill, they went to the hospital, they gathered together, they use their money to help these people, they visit them, they take care of their stuff while they're healing. So there is something to be said about community. However, I understand if you can take care of yourself first and then be able to help, you're in a healthier position to help others. And I think it creates, you know how they said you're only as strong as your weakest link? It keeps the links strong.
Well, I mean, if you really look at it, like they're saying, if you look at just singularly, utilitarianism is the ethical framework that seeks to maximize overall happiness or utility by considering the consequences of actions on the greatest number of people, which in essence is community in a sense.
Yeah. But, I think I was responding to you saying something about you take care of yourself so others don't have to. I was like, yes, but you shouldn't say, no, don't help me. Sometimes you need the help.
Well, I think it's supposed to reconcile, the pursuit of your personal interests with the broader goal of maximizing overall well-being of the community and whatnot. So it's suggesting that your self-interest can be a powerful motivator for positive change in the world.
Absolutely. I think I think selfishness is overused because I often say, I have my kids say it, I hear people say it all the time. I know this is selfish, but I'm doing this, that, and the other thing. And I always say, that's not selfish. That's you knowing who you are, and nobody knows you the best than you. Nobody's going to be an advocate of you better than you. I think some people would see that as selfish, but I agree that you know you the best.
I also
you
think
live
that
with you 24/7.
In the pursuit
I wish I didn't.
of like self-interest, let's say. Someone is naturally really great at medicine, right? And in pursuing that, they are pursuing it, they're fine-tuning that craft or whatever it may be, I don't know, whatever it may be, that gives them the opportunity to be able to do something. Now, some people might say it's self-interest, whatever, because it is a self-interest. You are doing something that is a career that really is going to benefit you and your family in theory. But in the same breath, you have the opportunity to help the overall good of man if you are pursuing it. So if it's being selfish to pursue something that you may really feel passionate about or have a natural talent to, who's to say it's not going to benefit others?
Yeah.
I mean,
agree.
I think of my career in cosmetology when it comes to doing beauty. I mean, I went after it for my own self-interest. It was a means to get out of the marriage that I was in and find a craft or a trade that I could get into and be as good at it as I possibly could. Was able to thrive in that and grow. But what I've been able to do in that position is really talk to a lot of people about self-confidence and embracing their beauty and giving tips and tricks that's going to help them along the way. So I can see where putting that focus on myself in the long run kind of helped the greater good. I also think mothers are like that, if you think about it. Because of our children. Like, you got to think, trying to do our best to be the best parent that we possibly can is, in essence, putting out children into the world that hopefully are decent human beings and aren't going to screw everything up.
Don't you think that kids are born with a personality?
I think, yes, but I do think we are all developed from our experiences as well. Yeah. Like, I do think that...
I heard 50-50. Somebody suggested 50-50.
I mean, possibly. I also believe in astrology. So, like, if you look at astrologically, if you look at, like, I'm a Piscean with a Cancer rising and, you know, whatever, Aquarius moon, like, all of those things are kind of contributing to a personality if you were to look at it in that perspective. But when it comes to, like, I often think about how they do predictive astrology. Like, oh, well, you know, this time's really good for this. Well, the problem is that in the way that I was raised, if I have blocks for that and I don't choose to overcome those blocks, those times of opportunity are going to pass me by, or whatever, you know, that is going on. Sorry, I got into astrology.
Oh.
I just realized. But
your astrology. I don't, it's more complicated than, you know, reading it in the newspaper. Like you said.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You have a rising, you have a moon, and then that something.
I often say if you're reading the stuff in the newspaper, you probably should be looking at your rising anyway, so, and not your sun.
Oh. I don't remember what my rising is.
We'll have to look it up sometime. But yeah. What I was going to say is that, yes, in that regard, yes, you are. I do think most people are born with a personality. You're born with a personality. I'm born with a personality. The difference is that even though we had similar upbringing, because of our personalities, it went through that filter, and some things may have affected you. Some things might have affected me. Some of us both the same.
Thinking of the book Sociopath, that's more genetics. She was diagnosed as a sociopath. She was basically born a sociopath, and I do think it's I want to say condition. I don't think she got that from her mother. I know her and her mother butt heads. But heads is... Anyway, my point is, yes, you have an influence over your children. But sometimes
Did you
genetics, the astrology is a little bit stronger.
You were saying that you got invited to something about egotistical, or possibly about it.
Oh, Matthew, I didn't join it, though.
Oh.
This was a couple of years ago.
He had like some kind of talk?
It was a workshop.
How could you not go to a workshop that has Matthew McConaughey? What is wrong with you?
There was a fee.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah. There was a fee, and, I mean, he did this live stream that you could have done free, and I just forgot. And then it was I thought also, because I knew he was selling a workshop that one of those online education. It's not really him. I mean, it's him, but it's not. So I just thought, it's probably just a pitch. I mean, but I've heard wonderful things about it, and I went, oh, I wish I went. I think he did 2 of them, and I missed both.
So, do you think that in today's society where you feel like a lot of people are saying, oh, you gotta like find your community and this and that, because I hear that a lot, do you think that all of a sudden speaking about having an egotistic utilitarianism, do you think that that's kind of counterintuitive, or do you think it's actually plays a part of the community aspect?
Having a community is
Like
egotistical?
taking the egotistical utilitarianism kind of movement, so to speak, do you think that goes in line with everything else? I think it does, personally. Because even within a community, you can all have something in common, but like all bring different tools to the project, so to speak.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it fits into that egotistical utilitarianism too. I think of I was thinking of Dr. Mike, who's on YouTube.
Oh, I don't know.
He's a doctor, and he does different videos, but lately and I have to stop watching him because he gets so mad. But he watched TikTok's videos, and he goes, why are you doing that? And then he rattles off. Actually, when I started watching him, because I'm a huge The Pit fan, have you seen that on Max, on HBO? It's really good, with Noah Wiley. I watched it because I'm a Noah Wiley
I've heard about it.
Oh, it was good. It was good. Now, I say that, but like Gordon couldn't watch it. Gordon was like, and the nights he goes out to game night, that's the nights I try to watch it because he doesn't. But I watch it and I think, God, I should have been a doctor, because
I can't watch too much gore.
You won't like it, especially the first episode. But anyway, he would comment and say whether it was realistic or not. And then sometimes he would pause it and he would rattle off, I think this is going on. And then he'd hit it, and then
I love that.
It was fun. It was fun to watch him do that. He clearly doesn't watch the show. His crew probably gives him just clips. Okay, tell us what this is. What do you think going on here? But anyway, and then I got tied into this TikTok, and he just yells at him. I think of him now as he puts bubble wrap around everyone. Don't go out. He's like that mother who's paranoid that you're going to get hurt in whatever you do. But my point is, he gives, you do actually learn a lot by watching him, because he tells you, okay, this person is messing with you. That's not true. Mm-hmm. Don't always agree with him on some things. Like he said something. I'm going down another path.
No,
you have
go
to keep
for
me
it.
focused. But this one, he said, I forgot what the thing was. It had to do with a natural way of healing. And he said, if that's true, why don't they do studies on it? And I was thinking, you moron, because nobody can make money off of it. That's the only way studies are done, unless it's done by the government. And now the government's been cut in half, and so it's not going to be done. It's like, come on. Don't you know how money works?
Yeah, no, a study's only going to be done if they actually think there's going to be a benefit in some way. I mean, that's how they get their sponsorship most of the time.
Yeah.
At
so
the amount of times,
if it's going to be mint tea settles a stomach, they're not going to do a study on that.
I go back to, I mean, we're really going off the rails right now, but that's okay. Do you remember back in the day when both of us were vegan, and there were studies about X, Y, and Z, about how this diet was so bad for children and this and that, and then we found out that the study, when you did research and looked into it, it was done by the Dairy Farmers Association.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
I don't think I was ever vegan. I was vegetarian and dairy free, which I still try to do. It's very difficult, but I was vegetarian dairy free because you might be thinking.
I did eventually incorporate
Because
like fish,
yeah,
pescatarian, I guess you would call it.
pescatarian.
And then eventually I just, I gave up.
It's hard.
It is.
Boring.
I didn't find it boring, funny enough, like, because I was always like looking up new recipes and trying different stuff. It was moving up north because I was living in Florida at the time when I first started it. And weirdly enough, down here, there was more things available to support that lifestyle and get all the things that I needed than up in New York. Go figure.
Well, I had read...
At the time, this was back in the 90s. So.
No, it was a radio program. I used to follow this radio program, which I don't know how legit it was. It was called The Duke and the Doctor, I think it was. I don't know if it's still around. And she was a doctor. And I think they were there just to promote some vitamins in retrospect. They weren't... She was a medical doctor. Mm. Anyway, she said, you know what? I'm gonna do a blanket. I'm not entirely sure if it was the Duke and the Doctor.
Okay.
But there was a larger...
Transparency.
This was transparency. That's it. This was like 30 years ago, too.
Oh, okay.
So that's why my memory's fuzzy. Maybe 25. But anyway, up north gets more MS. And some people felt it was because they were a larger meat-eating area compared to the South. And the reason they're heavier meat eaters is because the cold makes you want to eat something heavy and warm.
That's interesting.
And, yeah.
I mean, it's one theory.
It is. It's one theory. Yeah, like I said, I don't entirely remember where I heard it. So...
Yeah. All I can say is that, like, I did find the whole philosophy of, especially as a woman, because I do find that naturally, and I want to be clear, I'm not saying all women. I do think bulk majority of women are naturally more like, let me help others and putting others ahead of themselves. And there has been a little bit of societal change, I think, over the past couple of decades, where I think women are just kind of like, no, I'm going to do this for myself. But it doesn't mean it's not. Do you think it's societal
change, or do you think it's our age? Because I'm finding a lot of women my age all of a sudden think, I'm tired of taking care of people. Even Mom was that way around that age.
Yeah.
And it's like, I need to take care of me.
Of course, I used to think it was just our age. I mean, us being Gen Xers, we're not like our boomer compadres. That I found a lot of Gen Xers tend to be like, screw what's expected of us. We're going to do whatever the hell we want, right? It was hard because that transition, we're kind of like at that buffer zone where, we were just starting to be raised by parents that were starting to work, where both parents were working, but not really. So in a sense, we were expected to work, but also expected to be a stay-at-home mom, but expected to work. But like we had that weird gap where we had to do both and be successful at both. And if we were not successful in one, like say if you were, did really good at work, if you were not the great housekeeper, housewife, and parent as well, like you were a failure as a woman. So I do think when I look at our generation, yes, I think a lot of us kind of fell into that, like I'm taking care of everybody and we're tired. I mean, especially if you had kids. But I feel as though young women coming up that are taking on careers and whatnot, they're looking at men and they're going, yeah, no, if we're going to like be in a relationship, like I'm not here to take care of you, which I think is incredibly healthy. Everybody has to have that autonomy. No one's here to take care of you. I mean, yes, it's great to have someone who is your partner in crime that like if things go awry, someone's there to support you. But that's, I mean, hell, we can have friends like that if we wanted to, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. Although I remember having kids and I was thinking, I don't know how single parents do this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You were a single parent
I was
for quite some time.
Good, clean fun. Good, clean fun. It's a challenge, and it was helpful that my two older were teenagers, even though relatively young teenagers. It helped, but no, it's not easy. But let's just say there was chaos in the house, and bathrooms were not always clean. But hey, sometimes it was like Hot Pockets night. It wasn't always a home cooked meal. But the point is that I think a lot of younger generations are kind of like, yeah, no, when it comes to child rearing, you're 50-50. This is not negotiable. Like, why am I having to take on the full responsibility and the emotional load as well? Because even right down to doctor's appointments, like that is an actual mental load that you're carrying all the time. Like, you know, knowing the teachers, having the conversation with teachers, making sure the homework's done, making sure, you know, it's a mental load that normally women are carrying. And I think that more and more men, I do feel, are stepping up. So that's a nice thing to see. So I do think there has been a change. I don't think it's systemically across the board. And I do think there's a lot of pushback, and maybe some people wanting more trad wives, which we see a lot about. But
well, the trad wives, believe it or not, I just learned this recently, were the Mormons. If you watch I saw the first one, and the reason, I shouldn't say why. My friend is a Mormon.
Well,
but
I mean,
I will just say I saw the first episode. It's not my kind of show. It's very housewives, whatever.
Oh, I heard about the show. That started on TikTok, though.
Yes.
It was a drama that started on TikTok.
And yes, it was the trad wives, and they're the ones who started it. It's these housewives of Mormon housewives. It's on Hulu. Anyway, I watched the first episode.
Started it because there were a lot of women that were like.
They claim they started it.
I'm sure
I'll just
they
say
do.
that.
Then I'll say, that doesn't shock me.
Knowing what the little I do know about Mormons, yes.
Yeah. Not shocking.
And I don't think it's good. But what we were talking about, I'm thinking of my kids who are two young girls, not girls, women. The whole dating scene is different today. Mm-hmm. Whether it's about having a shared responsibility or not. I think the dating apps is another thing. Who asks who is another thing. Where do you meet? All of this, and even I think it happened to us a little bit because we were going into the workplace, and then they're like, well, then guys shouldn't have to pay for the girls on dates, and that's an issue because girls still don't make as much, or women don't make as much as men. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. So I don't think my kid's concern is about shared parenthood, shared parenting. But in this neighborhood that I live in, oftentimes for quite some time now, at the bus stops, it's the men. One of our neighbors, if you see the kids out, he's out. He's the one taking the kids to places. He's the one picking them up from school. Now, he works from home, which I think is one of the reasons why. But I almost never see the wife.
Well, I think
do.
that there's...
She's delightful. I've only talked to her a little bit, but it's him. And it's him who the neighbors talk to. It's him who... yeah, I think it's... in some, and and
to be clear, like, I actually think the shift is healthy for both men and women, because
there's some people resisting.
Oh, of course, but I do think that
I say some. I think it's more than some with the guys. I think the guys are fighting it.
And the irony,
I think the guys are not getting enough sex, and that's why they're all up in arms. And they're probably not getting enough sex because they don't know how to ask women out anymore, or if they should ask women out anymore, because everything's based on the dating app. And as my one daughter said to me, the problem with the dating apps is one thing wrong with the person you're going out with, and you're like, oh, let me go back on the dating app and find somebody else. But they're saying that it used to be your late 20s when you used to date and get married. The guys would get married. They're saying it's in the 30s now. Mm-hmm. And I think, A, they can't get off their freaking gains, and B, it's the toxic male podcasts that people get fallen into. And I say that because I heard Jordan Klepper said he put himself down as a teenage boy on social media, and he said it was a matter of hours, not days, not weeks, hours, that you automatically fall into this toxic environment that is on social media around men. That men are being targeted
incels.
For. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they got to get out of there. That the younger males, I think, are in danger.
It's funny, as a mother of males.
Yeah.
I have to say, for
your kids are good. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think
out in the universe, since we're on the,
it's complicated, and even as somebody that I had to do the dating apps. I mean, honestly, that's how I met my significant other.
You're older, though.
I am older, but let me tell you, the amount of men that were in their late 60s or 70s that were reaching out because they wanted someone to take care of them.
Oh, yeah. But that was true even before the dating apps. And I say that because I knew someone who married this guy. Now, to be fair, she did it too, but his wife passed. He kept the ring on for 6 months, took it off, and she asked him out, and 6 months later after that, they were married.
Huh?
Can you imagine? I told Gordon he has to, wait. I originally said 3 years, and I said maybe a year.
There are statistics that say that men get married very quickly, either after divorce or. But
I said 2. You have to talk to the girls and make sure she's good, because I've seen some guys marry some women.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have to
especially
say,
if you're still raising kids. But I said make sure the girls check with the girls. And they'll tell you if it's okay. They know. I told the girls this, so they know I'm okay with him dating. Just make sure she's not a piece of work.
Which is complicated.
It's usually, I'm not going to be bad. Paige always says I'm being bad to other women, and I shouldn't do that. So I got to stop. But.
Well, I mean, I think there's a demographic for everything. I mean, I think, there's no hard line that is, no one, how do I put this? Everybody does not have a halo because of their gender or the horns. That goes for men and women. Like, it's all individual. I think the hope is that people grow enough to at least calm down and listen and
a lot of times I am the women I'm thinking of who married these guys who were widowers just were not very nice to the children. They'd never had children themselves, but there was it was a sad story for the children.
That's hard.
The end. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, even though my kids are adults, I still say, check with the kids. Make sure they're like, okay, you can marry this one.
Oh, my stomach's growling. Sorry, did you hear it?
No. I have headphones
It was
on,
loud. But I was going to say, I think, as blended families, all this stuff, it's always complicated. But I will say this. I feel as though when it comes to the rules of dating, I don't prescribe myself. I don't know what the right word is, but I don't align myself with anything other than I am going to show up exactly who I am and as I am. They're going to sit there. Maybe someone's going to sit there and say, well, that's not how you're supposed to behave. All right. Well, you're not meant to be with me.
That's our
fine.
generation.
Like, I don't give a fuck.
The newer generation doesn't think that way.
Because I think that's anybody that is, wants to find young love, or wants to start a family, all that. I think that there is a certain level of, I'm not going to say desperation, but like there is.
I will say I was very lucky, and Kathy told me it's best to be who you are, so they're used to you right away. And Gordon had said to me, his buddies said after they got married, their wives changed, which I thought was interesting. I was like, how can you do that? I'm not very good at wearing a mask for a very long time.
Yeah, no, me neither. Not now, but I would say
exhausting.
at 18, I can honestly say I probably didn't know who I was at that time.
Oh, that's fair.
So
That's fair.
I think that, it's good that they're waiting until you're much older, because that's where it made it easier for someone to come in and mold me.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he was your age, too.
Oh, he was older. Not by much, but he was older. But I often say I was incredibly naive, and I
didn't know he was older. How much older?
3.5, 4 years.
Oh, he's closer to my age.
Yeah. Actually, I think he was a little older than you.
Yeah.
What year were you
that
born?
Sounds like it. I'm like 2 years older than you. 70.
Yeah, he was born in 69.
Oh, 69 is actually the baby boomers. The end of the baby boomers.
Is it? I thought it was.
Maybe it's
younger than
67. It is in
Yeah.
the 60s, though.
that. Yeah, I think it's in the 60s, but it's earlier. I think it's like 65.
Oh.
Somewhere
I
around
know our brother is in it.
there. I think our sister is too.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know what you
I think the
I can guess.
three or four oldest. I think you're the
boomers?
cutoff. Maybe the one older than you might be a Gen Xer, but yeah, the rest of them are boomers. I'm 99.9% sure. God bless them.
Yep. I gotta say, I'm not really. I think the Gen Xers are pains in the ass too.
Oh my God, yes. And many are mean. Like, it's unnecessarily so. And like think they are far tougher than they actually are. Like, sit down, old man. Sit down, woman. Like,
every once in a while, I was getting these shorts. I guess I don't know what they're called on Facebook for a bit, and they were two Gen X women. And I would listen, and they start out with something. When we were kids, we would blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that. Mm. But then they would go off on this, I don't know, it was like a telling. Well, you did a scolding almost. But it was always, I'm like this, and I'm like that. And I was like, are we self-centered? I think we're
No,
self-centered.
I think a lot of us are just trying to justify our existence.
I don't care.
I mean, supposedly
Justify
we're
my existence
this lost
not say
generation that like nobody paid attention to. So, we were to keep quiet. So and sat outdoors and fend for yourself.
The one lady I like more than the other. The other one is I don't relate. But she also often says, because she'll say, you want us to do this, that, and the other? Gen Xers don't give a fuck. I'm like, that's true.
For the most part, we don't. And anytime I hear a Gen Xer sitting there saying, well, I get it. Like, oh, we used to drink, from the hose. No shit, Sherlock. Like, what's the... Yes, I know. They had to remind our parents to go look for us at 10 p.m. through a commercial. I mean, I get it. But with that being said, it's looking at another generation saying we're so tough because we had to raise ourselves. Like, no, that's called generational trauma. And if we're going to sit here and complain about like how our kids are, like, dude, we're the ones that raised them. So, like, if there's an issue there, it's not some outside force did not put them into this universe and create them the way they are. We did that. We did that. So either celebrate what they are or claim our fuck ups. Or both. But either way, don't sit there and say, oh, well, you know, we were better. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I like the whole, we were kind of free range, is how I put it. We were kind of free range. And I think that had a lot to do with we had a large family. But with that free range, I think there was a lot of neglect too.
Well, yeah. Yeah. So I mean,
you can't have one without the other.
I think that, unfortunately, if you listen to people, that is kind of a generational curse, so to speak. And it's something that is very well known with Gen Xers. That's one of the reasons why we got the name that we did. But with that being said, we had
Latchkey Kid, I remember.
Latchkey Kid,
Kid.
Yeah,
We
all
were
those.
But that's when, like you said earlier, that's when parents were the women were going into the workplace. And
yeah. You get a cut, rub some dirt on it.
That was a Peyton Manning thing. He's younger than us.
But the funny thing is, I've said that before, but I think she was like, yeah, we do.
I saw the commercial and I thought
I say it
was
with
hysterical.
sarcasm.
Yeah,
like a little bit of sarcasm. And I do think that our generation is definitely painted with thick sarcasm that is at times
lots of
brutal.
Sarcasm.
Brutal.
As a matter of fact, so I took this training thing for the kids way back when, and they said you're never sarcastic to kids, never, ever. And I was like,
oops,
yeah, too late. But my kids know sarcasm very well,
and snarkiness,
and snarky.
Yeah,
but yeah,
because I was gonna say the same with my kids. They understand it very, very well. With that being said, I do think that my youngest has a harder time with it. He takes things very literal. So I have to be a little bit more conscientious, but that's just...
Yeah, that's what they told us. The kids always take it literally.
I mean, he's 15 now, but like, yeah, no, he always would take things very literally. So I had to learn to kind of curb my crazy.
My crazy.
Yeah, because, again,
I remember
when the next generation complains about that generation, I have to take accountability. I'm the one that created it.
It was Benson. Remember the show, Benson?
Yeah.
He worked in the governor's...
Weird. We just talked about him. Why did we just talk about him?
He was on Poker Face, that show with Natasha Lyonne, Poker Face on Peacock. She... The kid made a song to the credits of Benson.
Bob and I were just talking about Soap. Do you remember that show, Soap? And Benson, that's where Benson came from. Oh. But it was about the guy was the governor, and he had a daughter, and it was them at the governor's mansion, and it was freaking hysterical. Look it up after this.
Okay.
It was 70s.
I love Benson. That's how I
And that's where
sarcasm.
the show Benson came from.
I did not know that.
Yeah, because he was the
show.
butler there, and he was always looking at them like, y'all are nuts. Like, it was a great show.
That was a great show. Well,
Robert Guillaume.
Benson was. I don't have.
Wasn't his name Robert Guillaume?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Is he still alive?
I don't know.
I haven't heard from him. Since
but when
Benson.
someone comes up like that multiple times, and then, like, I find out they're still alive, I'm always afraid.
Yeah, I heard Norm of Cheers passed away.
What?
Yeah. I want to say a couple of weeks ago, but I can't tell you when this is going to be posted.
Okay, he died in 2017, Robert Guillaume.
Oh.
Wait, now I have to look it up.
I mean, I say,
Norm.
How old was he?
Norm
from Cheers. That was recent.
Okay.
I just found out.
thought you were talking about, and I don't know why I thought her name was Norma. What is her name? Carla, the one that played Carla Tortelli.
Oh, she was on something recently too. Oh,
Her name
she
is
was
Rhea
on Poker
Perlman.
Face.
That's Rhea Perlman. I don't know
yeah.
why I thought Norma.
She was
But
on
that's
Poker Face.
what freaked me out. I thought you meant her. And I'm like, what? But no, I did hear.
No.
I heard George
She was
went.
on Poker Face as well this season, this newer season.
I don't think I've
couple
ever heard of
episodes.
that show. I'll have to look at it.
Oh, it's very good with Natasha. Did you ever see Russian Doll?
Yeah, I love that show.
It's her, that
Oh,
actress.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why we went. Oh, we love Natasha, so we watched it, and it was still good.
So,
She
for
plays a
anyone that
similar
has listened up until this point, just so you know, we did have a topic, but like this is the kind of conversations that my sister and I will have at any given moment where it branches off into several different places. And if you relate to these kinds of conversations, please subscribe. Share it with your other friends that are squirrely, and we'll have more conversations in the coming weeks.
You know what? I'm going to spend the next week trying to be egotistical.
For the good of all.
That's right.
Actually, when you think of it, that was one of Mom's favorite sayings, for my good and the good of all.
I do not recall this.
Oh, she used to always say that. She goes, do it for your good and the good of all. Like,
She didn't say that
remember,
to me.
she say it to me all the time.
I tell you what, I am learning, especially since she passed away.
Now, that was in
But-
the later years of her life, but like, and I was trying to make decisions about what I
okay.
was doing, and she's like, no. She's like, you like, do this. Do it for your good and the good of all.
I would say I am learning that we had different upbringings. There are
Yes.
times like I remember going to tea with her and Nancy. I want to say Aunt Nancy. With Nancy, and I was telling her, Nancy was asking me if I went to psychics. I was like, yeah, I used to go to the psychic parties with Mom. And she went, psychic parties? What's the psychic parties? I was like, yeah, they have psychic parties. And everybody shows up, you pay a fee, and you go. And she went, how did I miss this?
I didn't know about it.
Oh,
I didn't know about it. I didn't go
wonder why
to
I went.
it. I don't know.
I went to a couple of them. Maybe
Now
three.
we can't ask unless we go to a psychic. Then we can ask.
Ask what? Oh.
Why doesn't
I don't
anybody
know. I've
else
been going
invite
to-
the psychic party?
Psychics lately, I've been to a couple lately, and they've gotten really expensive. But that I can't afford it anymore.
Yeah.
But they can't. I don't think they can read me. I've come to that conclusion. I don't think they can read me.
I think it's hard to it.
Or I have nothing going on. There's nothing going on around you. You're boring.
Oh, Joanne. I do, but I will agree with when it comes to Mom, and I've always said that. That's why we have big kids, middle kids, little kids. That all of us have been raised by a different generation of parents.
Yeah, but see, I
But
always
I
thought
also-
of you as part of my generation. You
Yeah,
and Nancy.
but that's where I think Mom met each of us in where they felt that they could connect, and I don't think all of us connected in the same way.
I connected with her psychically.
Well,
Who
and
knew?
tea, like I never,
Oh, tea.
I once went with her to go to tea in Disney at the Grand Floridian many years ago. Never went to a tea with her again. She never invited me. I think she just felt like it was
I often
not something.
invited her. Just to be fair, I usually, and I told her, like, for Mother's Day, I said tea is we go to a tea every Mother's Day. It's gotten expensive,
Yeah.
but I will say this: the first tea I think she's ever went to, like a English tea, a high tea, an afternoon tea, was in Florida when I was living down there.
Yes,
So
I do
that's
remember
probably
that.
why she associates me with her. And it wasn't Disney. It was one in Cocoa Beach that
Oh.
it's gone now, but it was in Cocoa Beach. And it was delightful. It was very simplistic. I think they even used Bisquick as their scone. Because I was like, this tastes familiar. Well, yeah, I'm not a fan of Bisquick, but that's another story. Anyway, and then we went to tea in the Grand Floridian, and then
Which at one point was very
Yeah.
fancy and lovely, and then it kind of went downhill
yeah,
after a while. I don't know how it is now. Maybe they
yeah.
elevated
You know,
it.
they cater to. I'm trying to restrain from saying terrible things. They have this huge child's tea where they dress them up as princesses. They do the hair.
Yep.
They do the tea. And it's a mini fortune to do it. I want to say like $1,000 kind of mini
Wow.
fortune to do it. So that's where they're making their money now. But then she started to do teas up in New York, and I think by then you moved out of New York. And
Yeah, like I said, I think everybody has something that they connected with mom one way or another. And like,
spiritually, she spoke to everyone, I think, except
yes.
for one
And how
member,
much we
because they
wanted
had
to
their own
accept
spiritual.
it is how much she expounded, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah. I just went, oh, yeah, and nodded because oftentimes I didn't understand what she was saying.
I'll admit there were times where I was like, what is she talking about? You know,
Yeah,
and now I have different experiences now that I suddenly go, son of a bitch!
You told me
She was
this.
right. And it's
Yeah.
annoying.
No, I still don't. There are a few things that I now be like, okay, I see what she's talking about. The big one was, and I think she said this because she saw me as the sciencey person after I just told her, y'all that I go to psychics. And for entertainment purposes only, I'm just going to say that before people are like, you can't rely on that. I was like, I tell my friend, because I sometimes watch this lady on YouTube who is a psychic for American politics. She's Australian. And I tell her, oh, guess what the psychic said? Now, I do this to irritate her because she's very anti.
Who are you doing this to?
You don't know her. It's a friend of mine. She's very science-based. She has a science in chemistry, and she works at the patent office and all this. And anyway, so I like to tell her that. And then finally she says, why are you taking the opinion of this? I go, she's not any better or any worse than the pundits you watch on TV.
Amen. But I have to say, like, I mean, science, maybe they, like, again, there's no money in it. But, like, there is a thing as energy flows and stuff like that. So who is to say we're not tapping into it? That could be
I
science.
argue, you know how they did not believe that we can read people's minds, but now there is a computer out there. I saw it on 60 Minutes. If you're like, oh, where did you see this, Joanne? It was 60 Minutes many years
What's
ago.
your sources?
Yeah, 60 Minutes is. And they did put a band on the head, but it didn't go inside the head. And they said you had to focus very clearly. And by that focusing, the computer could tell what they were saying, were thinking. That's fucked up. That messed me up for weeks.
Which is energy.
It's energy, or it could be magnetic waves. I don't know what it is, because we do give off magnetic waves.
Right.
But I don't know what they did based it on. I never looked it up, and I should, because I use that example a lot. It's like, so these things that you're saying, oh, there's no psychics.
Maybe we found a topic for our next podcast.
What is it?
Well, you and I will do a deep dive and look into this whole 60-minute thing and look at the studies, and then we'll discuss.
Oh,
I think that would be a good one.
that would be interesting.
Because at least
They
both of
made
us are
the
open to
computer
it.
already. But see, the thing is,
We
just
should
because
invite-
you can't explain it doesn't mean, not to say that there aren't, charlatans out there. I do believe there's
Oh, yeah.
charlatans out there, wholeheartedly. But I do believe there are some naturally gifted.
I mean, it's kind of like
They pick
how
up things.
there are politicians that are actually trying their best to do their job, and then they're charlatans.
Yeah.
So we can't believe that it's all charlatans. Then there'll
Right.
be no hope. So, like, that's the same with any profession. Or
Any person.
discipline.
I often used to tell the kids, people in general are good. They're the ones that aren't, you have to keep an eye out for, and they're difficult to spot.
Because they're
Clearly.
egotistical, not egotistical utilitarian.
Well, if you listen to the audible for Sociopath in the beginning, she says things that, the way she puts it, like, ooh, she goes, I will do what I am happy. I forgot how she puts it, but basically she says, I'm going to manipulate you into doing what I want. And I'm like, that's creepy.
I
good
might
book.
understand that.
Oh, you might enjoy it. At least listen to it for a bit.
Yeah.
All right.
Well.
I know. We're getting down to the hour. Yes. Like, share, subscribe.
Yeah,
that what
okay,
you
yeah.
said?
Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, make a comment.
Comment. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll respond. There's 2 of us now. I'm terrible with the comments.
If you
try.
want to support the podcast, if we're on YouTube and we happen to be able to get a subscription kind of based thing that you want to donate $5
We're going
to,
to work on
we
getting
love
on
you. Thank you.
Substack, too.
Otherwise, yes, we'll be on Substack and we're going to be also writing stuff. We were discussing that before we started recording because both of us like to write and we have thoughts.
Oh, she's better at the writing than I am, I think.
I am not. Wait, have you read any of my writing? How would you know?
Just told me the one.
I didn't tell you I was better.
Millions of views.
But that's
I don't
just
get
because
millions
it
of
was a
views.
topic that was a hotbed topic at the time, and I was doing it from a professional perspective of someone that has used the product. That is the only reason. It's not necessarily the way I wrote. Well, maybe it was the way I wrote. But, yeah.
Some of the stuff you told me that was in that, it was funny. Unicorn
Yeah, it was
piss?
funny.
Come on.
Yeah, I
That's
know, right?
historical.
And I
Very
even found
colorful.
a picture of. Do you remember the movie The Last Unicorn? I
Sounds
stole a
familiar.
screen grab of it and put it in there because I have a sense of humor. But at any rate,
Okay.
the point is that, like, any way that you want to support us so we can keep doing this, I don't know. We'll probably keep doing it anyways, just because Joanne and I have weekly conversations. So why not record it?
And make you people listen.
Yeah,
All right, we won't make you do anything. but
we
yes.
won't make you do anything,
Agreed.
but we appreciate it.
Do we have an outro?
No,
We do. Go
it's
for
bye. Get off. Go home.
it. Be egotistical.
Bye, Joanne.
In a utilitarian way.
Utilitarian.
Okay. Bye.